Diving for Glory, episode Trey Deuce.
Diving. Diving.
What do you think it's called?
Diving. For glory. Diving. For glory. Diving for glory.
Yeah, welcome back. Diving for Glory, episode 32. Yeah, we just sitting on the sidelines, gossiping, entertaining, instigating shit like Brand in the Winterfell courtyard.
Thought you meant like Raisin Bran.
Nah. You saw the episode, man. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, man, once again, welcome back. Season 2, episode 32. I'm your host, Mr. Pep Corciola. What it do, Sir Solomon?
It was all a dream.
Yo, Raheem getting it in. This week, man, we're going to change up our back four a little bit. Instead of looking at individual games, we're going to look at the races that are still going on. The Premier League title race, the Bundesliga title race, top four for Serie A and Premier League. As always, don't forget, man, we're going to hit you with our big league reviews, Champions League preview, awards, prestigious and egregious award section, and our upcoming games. Remember, we post every Monday. At least we try to. Every Monday, we're Spursian to the end of the season. But every Monday, Diving for Glory on YouTube, on iTunes, on divingforglory.com. Don't forget, check us out at Facebook and at Twitter, Diving for Glory, man. Rate us, hit us on iTunes, do what you do. We appreciate anyone take time, listen to us. With all that, man, just a cup, Judge's Tug, Boot Stace, Diving for Glory, let's go. Moo just on the sidelines hating. Give me a job, son.
No, where you going?
Lying, you lying.
Lying, son. You lying, B.
Lying,
B.
Pog man like your ass. You just lying, son. Alright. Gonna get it in, man. Premier League race. Games are getting crucial. There's only 5 to 6 games left. We're gonna start you off, man. City had Palace this week. Liverpool played their last Big 6 team of the season in hosting Chelsea. But we're going to start you off in North London. Is that where Crystal Palace is? I always think it's North London.
South London.
You
think that London is just a city called North London?
It is, man. It is. Crystal Palace, South London, man. City. Looking to avenge
London massive.
So fucking. Looking to avenge their earlier season loss to Crystal Palace. At home loss at that. And Pep rolled out. Like I said, man, like I texted you before the game, he released the hounds in this game.
Yeah, so he rested his team against against the Spurs in the Champions League because he had a big game against Crystal Palace upcoming.
Disrespectful, son.
He put the proper team on, and the flat track bullies did their thing, you know.
For sure, man. I mean, when Sane and Sterling started, Aguero, De Bruyne, in this new little double pivot thing that he's doing. Also trotted out Company and Mendy. Interesting. Palace did all right considering, but Raheem, man,
he got an assist from 2 players that should have started in the Champions League. One from Kevin De Bruyne, spectacular pass, and then second move, also a spectacular pass from Leroy Sané.
Nice finishes on both for Sterling, which is like the thing that you would always criticize about him.
Yeah. And like especially the first was a spectacular finish by him, but
go ahead.
He's been, his efficiency and his finishing was the big issue, like you said, and he's really come through. And Pep has done wonders on that guy.
Probably should have had 3. Actually tricked off an early one. Jesus comes on late for Aguero. Aguero been largely ineffective the past couple games.
he's clearly playing through an injury. He shouldn't have, I don't think, played in either one of those games. And I think that Gabriel Jesus coming on and scoring that late goal might help Pep to believe in him more and maybe play him.
Think he'll play this? You think he'll play Wednesday?
It completely depends on how
Aguero health.
Yeah, but I think that he's capable. Like if they play him, but more importantly, the choices that they make in midfield.
Yeah, Bernardo came back, played this game. Fernandinho was absent in this game. They're saying some type of slight knock. They're not exactly sure.
Probably just resting him, but just mind games.
Yeah, I can see that easily. I've been kind of surprised. Last thing, and then we'll move on because we got a lot to cover. But Stones has basically not been a player in this. Like he played so well in the first half of the year, and it really looked like he was starting to be. It was him and Laporte as like Pep's first.
Yeah, that was the center back.
But he's not been. Didn't play the Tottenham game at all and came in super late on this game.
It'll be very interesting to see who makes because Kompany's not.
He won't play two in a row.
Huh?
He won't play two.
And what's his name was looking like ass in the first. Who's the Argentine kid?
Otamendi.
Otamendi was looking like ass in the first game. He got worked multiple times. So
can't even believe he got on the field. But
so I don't know if John Stones like fucked Pep's daughter or something. Like I don't know why he fell out of favor because he was doing really, really good.
He was doing well. So with all that, man, after this victory, which happened 2 hours before Crystal Palace's, before Liverpool's game, they go back top of the table by a point, even on games. But Liverpool were hosting Chelsea at home, and let's talk about that game.
A very professional team, very, very good squad in Liverpool. And a team of questionable professionalism and a clown car of a fucking manager in Chelsea. And
it went to halftime 0-0.
They got in there. They got in halftime 0-0, held together with fucking broken toothpicks and duct tape and shit. And they decided they didn't want to make a change. First off, it must be said, Gonzalo Higuain is completely washed.
Yeah, done. He's not made for the Premier League. Not at this age.
Like, he was washed in Milan in a much slower league that he can actually thrive on with the right kind of support. And he came to one of the most physical, aggressive, fast leagues when he was a player in his prime of questionable physical traits. So that makes no sense. But either way, they needed a fucking 9 in this game because Eden Hazard playing there as the false 9 was basically, you get a game plan where Mauricio Sarri looked at Liverpool and said, how are we going to win? And the answer that came to his mind was, I'm going to put Hazard, my star, who likes to play out on the wing and get like some space to run, I'm going to stick him right under Virgil van Dijk, the most dominant defender in the Premier League. And that's how we're going to win this fucking game.
Yeah, true.
And not create any fucking sort of ways for him to get away from this. Like, Hazard can run for 15 meters. At the end of it, Virgil van Dijk is there. Like, and I didn't get.
And that's exactly what it looked like in the first half.
Yeah, and they came back and said, "Give us some more." Didn't make any changes.
Yep.
Like, it was obvious that they were going to get open
and not to say disappointing, but I think like whether or not it's the actual truth, all of a sudden it feels like super stubborn Sarri is succumbing to all the media pressure. Like, oh, all right, yeah, you want me to start him? It almost feels like some Mourinho shit. Like, oh, I'm gonna show you what's up.
And he played Callum Hudson-Odoi. He started him, and the kid played like for 55 minutes. Like, he tried what he could until halftime. But it has to be understood that just because you're talented and you haven't played, it doesn't mean that you're going to come in and just turned into Roberto Baggio or something.
And
you have
start
to
him in
get
this
playing
game at
time.
that.
Exactly, you have to get playing time, and then like once you play in every game, we have to earn more time. And in this game, he was playing against superior opponents, and he wasn't doing that well. If you look at changes on the other end, Willian was doing fine. He created a few chances in the first half. You can't touch him. Hazard is not coming out. So this was your one forward that you could make a change, that you have, like you bring in Giroud, bring in Higuain, which if ultimately didn't work, but like bringing in Higuain after you're 2-0 down is useless.
So after Mane opens up the scoring very early in the second half, Salah assist, I believe, too, right? Or no, it wasn't. It was Firmino, I think.
Yeah, Firmino assist to Mane.
Very nice. 1-0. The Salah hits him up.
About a minute and 20 seconds later or some shit, he gets it out on the wing, cuts in, and launches one.
Yep, rocket, top corner.
And I think it's still not back. Like, it's like punched through the goal, and it's in a different dimension right now.
So I mentioned all that to say that 3 minutes after that, Higuain does get on. He takes Hudson-Odoi off. He moves Hazard to the right, and Chelsea immediately look more dangerous.
Yeah, and this is even considering that Gonzalo Higuain really didn't do much, but it's just like that's their comfortable formation, and it's been proven over and over. Even lesser teams have beaten them when he's moved him out of that position. And for a team that's super dependent on one guy, why not make it a system that he likes to play?
Jorginho played 33 games in Premier League and started all 33 and is playing 85 minutes per game. I thought he was so pedestrian in this game.
I don't understand what his purpose is in 4-3-3 in the way they play him. I think when Mauricio Sarri sees him with his little glasses, he sees like Sergio Busquets. Except these passes go nowhere. I've never seen somebody that will have 110 passes in a match and nothing even close to an assist. All of them 3 yards, like no forward progress. Kante has learned how to play further up more effectively than this guy has learned his national position.
How many passes how many assists do you think he has this year in Premier League?
0.
Zero.
Yeah. I don't even know the stats. I'm not looking at anything, but I'm pretty certain it's 0.
Zero.
It is?
Big 0.
Oh, okay, yeah.
How many big chances created?
I want to go 0 again, please.
It would be nice. 4.
Out of playing every minute of every game.
Basically. Yeah, I don't know, man.
And for that, they moved one of the best destructive midfielders we've seen ever out of position. And now he's fine. He's moved up and he's learned his new position.
Starting to look good.
But we were talking earlier about like wins above replacement and stuff. When you take Kante out of that position and you move him up, you're losing like 3 tackles a game, like interceptions, all this. And I don't know why you're doing it.
And props to Kante for being the quintessential professional.
Oh, yeah.
Not saying shit. Actually, like, all right, cool. I'll just learn this position and become awesome at this position. And he definitely looks like he's coming into form there.
But also still wasted because I like if and when like there are rumors this is funny because this was supposed to be a conversation about the top 2, but there were rumors that the Watford manager Javi Garcia is being lined up to replace Mauricio Sarri over the summer, and Mauricio Sarri is going to get his big payout, blah blah blah. But whoever replaces Mauricio Sarri, the first order of business is always going to be what?
Oh, move Kante back.
Doesn't matter, right?
Like, yeah.
Because I mean, the first order would be like trying to keep him but the guy is happy for some reason. He likes playing there, even when they try to pay him illegally. He's like, nah, I'm good. I'll pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? He said, just pay me the normal way, please.
Yeah, they're gonna. I think it's totally untenable from just a whatever standpoint you want to take it, from a club standpoint, from a fan marketing standpoint, like to have Sarri back next year. If they're gonna have that ban upheld and they lose Hazard, like it could get real real ugly
And
with
it's totally untenable from a football standpoint for a second season. Like, yeah, he's the ultimate professional and he's learning his position, but you're playing a 4-3-3. You're playing a non-creative guy at the base of it. Now, Kante, he's going to learn. He's going to be whatever, but, like, he's not going to be your playmaker.
yeah.
And then on the third side now, like, you need a very specific guy, a very aggressive, very fast box-to-box style player that can only play that can also play like a number 10 and a number 8. And he's just, who are you going to bring to be the third guy? Just kick Jorginho out or even try him further up. Let's try that.
Let's try that. Just try something different.
Like, just move him slightly further up and be like, okay, you make a 5-yard pass it to Hazard now.
My personal opinion is that top 4 doesn't even save sorry. What do you think about that?
I don't think it should. I don't think anything should save sorry, but I don't think that they get top 4, especially with the way Tottenham seem to be getting a grip on the third. Like, even if they fall, they don't look like they're going to fall further than 4th as it goes on, no? And we'll see how that goes, because do Spurs have a City game?
Spurs have City,
Yeah, but Chelsea has, after this week's proceedings, I would say Chelsea has a higher chance of getting to the Champions League by winning the Europa Cup than by finishing in the top 4.
No doubt. Should be fascinating. So with all that, Liverpool go back top of the table. They are 2 points clear of City with 4 games to go. And City have 5 games left. Their game in hand will be played next week against Manchester United. So what do you want to call huge week for Manchester City, and I personally think that that'll be the race. If they don't come away, if they don't get 2 W's against Tottenham and United, I think Poole will go ahead and sweep that. You don't think Poole will sweep it, but or do you?
It's looking more and more like they might. They only have 4 games left, so I think both teams have to look at it like they're both going to win all the games. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't drop anything. That being said, City, if they do come through it, is going to be spectacular because they have to have a comeback against Tottenham in the Champions League upcoming. Yep. And then the weekend, they have to beat Tottenham in the league. Yep. And then they have to beat Manchester United.
Yeah, that's going to be it.
And if they get through that, like, I don't think there will be any discussion about whether they deserve it or not, you know, but... Yep. Not that fucking matters, but it's gonna be a big it puts a lot of pressure on Liverpool if they get through those 3 games.
It does, and I hope they do just to increase the outside of my fandom, just to increase the tension there.
I wanted to see who's gonna blink. I wanted to go to the last fucking minute and then play like a game of chicken.
Yeah, Brighton hosting City at the last game, and I think it's Wolves away.
Yeah. After Newcastle, the game.
After the Newcastle game, see what goes on there. Ooh, drama. All right, word up. We're gonna move along. Head on over to Germany for the Bundesliga race, as both Bayern and Dortmund were back in action after the shellacking. That was last week, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
the 5-0. Good Lord, tough to come back from that. But we will start you off with the second place team here, Borussia Dortmund, hosting Jurgen Klopp's former team, Mainz. And go ahead.
Dortmund is also his former
team. I know. the battle of the former Klopps. They get off to a quick start here and then make a nervous ending of it. Mr. Sancho doing his thing, increasing his value.
Yeah. Him along with Dortmund need a little bit of increasing their value, because as far as they started off the season nicely, but then they've kind of gone to shit lately. So a Jadon Sancho assist to get them to 2-0, and early. You thought that they were halftime 2-0 games in the bag, but late on in the game they got a goal against them and they had to sweat it out. Good result, but they still don't look like they're going to rank with Bayern Munich, who did.
Bayern were away to Fortuna, who I believe either beat them or drew them earlier this year. I think Fortuna might even beat them in the first game. But revenge is a dish best served with sauerkraut. And Bayern Munich did the damn thing and dropped 4 on the great wizard Dusseldorf and Koeman. Koeman's been balling, man.
Yeah, sometimes when you get knocked around a little bit by Robert Lewandowski in training. They had a little bit of a bust-up this week.
Oh, yeah? A robot?
Robot has previously had a bust-up with Mats Hummels.
Deservedly.
Apparently, he told Koeman some things Koeman did not want to hear. So they got in a little bit of a fisticuffs.
Nice.
Handbags, as they call them.
The kind of leadership I like to see.
It depends if he got his... maybe it's like that Carolina fucking hockey player that tried to show some leadership and got knocked the fuck out yesterday.
What, by Ovechkin? Put them paws on him. Hey, shut up, old man. That dude laid him out, man. Whew.
That is kind of analogous of what's happening with Dortmund and Bayern Munich.
Pretty much.
Dortmund got a little hype at the end of this
19-year-olds feeling themselves, all that testosterone.
Wabap!
Go
to sleep.
Yeah, so 5 games left in the Bundesliga, and Dortmund are still behind a point. Dortmund, let's look at this upcoming, man.
But by the week, in a league where goal scoring is a tiebreaker, goal difference is a tiebreaker, by the week,
they have to win by points. They got to win
straight up.
So Dortmund finished with Freiburg, Schalke, Werder Bremen, Dusseldorf, and last day Mönchengladbach.
I would read that as they finish off with their opponents being Dortmund.
All games they should win, but still
but
nothing's a given.
They have managed, other than they lost to Munich, of course, as they should, but outside of that, they have 5 other losses.
So
2 other losses and 6 draws that they were just
both teams play Bremen. Bayern have Nuremberg, Hanover, and then here's where it gets interesting. The final 2 games for Bundesliga are Leipzig and Frankfurt.
And Bremen is in 7th place.
Yeah, Bremen's not bad. So both of them play Bremen. I think those last 2, like Dortmund had to close out this with all wins. I think.
I don't think they'll last until the last 2 games, to be honest.
You don't think so? You think it'll be over before then?
This Bayern team, being like I told you earlier in the season, I was like they need Bayern to go far in the Champions League. Like them sitting around and being rested for a week, and having everybody healthy and everything, and they're just picking who they want to fuck you up with. Mm-hmm. I don't see Dortmund surviving this. It's gonna be an assault.
No doubt. I hope you're wrong, but I would.
I hope I'm wrong.
But if I was a betting man, I'd be betting the way you're saying. So absolutely.
I hope I'm proven spectacularly wrong, and this becomes one of the historic victories. But
agreed.
It's very rare that a team that got fucked up 5-0 in a head-to-head comes back and pips the team that did that.
After dropping like a 9-point lead.
9-point lead in like a week and a half.
All right, man. Moving along, we're gonna head on over to Italy, and even though Juventus are refusing to close out the league by resting all their players.
The funny thing is, Juve is like, we're gonna rest Ronaldo.
Everybody else
we're
gonna
win it, and the league is like, nah, you're gonna have to bring Ronaldo out because we're not losing to these fucks.
yeah, for real. But they postponed their victory celebration by losing to Spal. But we're more interested to be here to talk about top 4.
No, we're here to talk about Mo Salah scoring still first.
Oh, he scored again? Did he really? I didn't even see that. He's holding it down for them, huh? Damn. No doubt. Bonucci in this game? No Bonucci to celebrate?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Wow, they definitely trotted out a B team for this game, though. Huh. Word.
Yeah, Mexican from Yao Cancelo assist, 30th minute goal. What? You had me doubting myself.
No. I didn't even realize he was the one.
But then Mr. Sergio Floccari came out and flocked them up.
Boom. It's tough out there, especially when you're playing. Spal's like relegated, aren't they? No, they're 13th.
They're actually decent this year. Last year they were in a bit of a struggle, but this year they're doing okay.
No doubt.
Or other teams are much more aggressively bad than they are.
I think the latter. So, to move along to the top 4 battle here, just to give you, before we start talking matchups, third place is Inter. They're a nice little distance behind Napoli, and they have a nice little lead on fourth place Milan, Roma, and Atlanta, who are all separated by 2 points here. And Roma, with their up and down season, seem to actually be coming to at least a stable period here. Like, they're doing things like winning 1-0s.
I think the Claudio Ranieri time, they had a change, and he's one of those people that needs a lot of team meetings and a lot of togetherness to build a team, and I think they're finally used to him and they're performing decent. That being said, the Inter gap you talked about, who are they playing this weekend?
They play Roma.
Yeah, so I don't think that the 5-point lead over Milan is a comfortable lead, because if Roma beats them, then it's a 2-point lead with 5 games left. So
Roma will only be
will be right behind. Exactly.
Yep.
So it'll be wide the fuck open.
Okay.
And I would agree with your statement at the end of this weekend if Inter can get themselves a nice victory.
Okay. Milan hosting Lazio, and they got the 1-0. They grinded this one out with a 79th minute penalty from Frank Kessie.
Yes, in which Frank Kessie and Timo Bakayoko later went and got a Lazio player's jersey and celebrated by making fun of it. I didn't get it. What was the thing?
I don't even know.
And then it was a whole uproar, and fuck them. They're all fascists.
Yes, exactly.
They do have a huge fascist following, so fuck them. And now they're all upset, but a couple of black dudes did y'all.
I hate it so much. It's like the bullshit in baseball when people complain about the bat flipping or whatever, or the celebrate. I'm like, dude, don't
wore
let the
his hat
backwards. I hate it. I hate it so much. It's so racially undertone. Charged under whatever. Anyway, Milan 1-0 over Lazio. Man, they're doing the thing. Man, they were hella active in this game as well.
Milan might be hit with another FFP ban soon.
Yeah,
they're saying that their last year they might be posting up to 90 million in losses.
Not that surprised.
I mean, their fucking owner
disappeared.
Know who they're, and then some other hedge fund just bought him. So there has to be something. I was wondering why it was such a smooth transition.
Somebody cooking the books, man. They running some money through there.
But at some point, I was like, dude, the Chinese dude disappeared. Are we just gonna watch him play Europa League like nothing's happening? And I'm like, at some point, there's gonna
disappear middle of the year. It's okay. Anyway, moving along, man. Inter got the 3-1 win over Frosinone.
Mr. Rajanangolan stepping up. He's looking good lately.
He's been balling this year,
and
Icardi with an assist.
They asked him about Zaniolo, because Zaniolo was the makeshift in the trade. And he was like, I just came here because the coach, whatever the fuck he is, Spalletti told me he liked his project, he believed in me. And then they were like, Zaniolo, and he's like, yeah, he's good. He's had a good season. But I've had 10 good seasons. It's easy to have one good season. He's like, but I've been in Italy for 9 years, and I've had 9 good seasons, and this year has been but the rest of it has been fucking killer. So talk to me when he does that.
When he does that. Holy shit, man. So to round this discussion out, man, Atalanta, who are right at the bottom of this top 4 discussion, have you seen their stats for this 0-0 draw with Empoli?
Yes.
I've never seen stats like that.
Oh, I have. I'll give you the game for that.
47 shots, 18 on target, 7 big chances, every single one of them missed. 33 shots inside the box.
So think of this. This is Empoli playing a top 16. Empoli is pretty much going to be relegated.
Yep.
In the Euros in 2004, Czech Republic played against Greece.
Yep.
In the game, they had 33 shots to Greece's 3.
Greece won that game.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they won the tournament.
They won the tournament that year, I remember.
So, you see these stats, but the bigger thing about Atlanta is that only Juventus, who have scored one more goal than them, have more goals scored in the league than Atlanta. Like this was an absurdity because it usually doesn't end up this way. Usually Atlanta's results are like 5-2, but they were just their shooting boots were just off on this game. But that's a very dangerous team. I really don't want them to go into the Champions League next season.
Yeah,
but I think that if they were to go to the Europa League, they'll be a spectacularly entertaining team. I don't think that they will last in the Champions League.
Looking at their team as well, they don't really have the makeup of a team that's going to get like rated either.
Papu Gomez is the man. They have Zapata up front, but Papu Gomez is their playmaker, fucking wicked ass number 10.
And they're on the older side, so like they don't really hold that much.
I can see like they might get a Coppa Italia at one point or win the Europa or advance far, but the Champions League, I don't see that being for them right now.
Word up. Well, they're still in the mix. And to round this out, Inter sit third place with 60 points. Milan are 5 behind that. They are a point up on 5th place Roma, who are a point up on 6th place Atalanta. Lurking are Torino and Lazio. But it would be difficult for that many teams to drop points. But who knows?
When you're Sampdoria and you have a 37-year-old tied for the league in scoring, and you're in 9th place, your manager resigns.
Really?
Yes. He resigned this week.
Is
you, dog? Even the players doing their thing. You got 37-year-old tied for the league lead in scoring. And you can't make it work. Like, you got to go.
Gotta go. Damn, with like 4 or 5 games left, that's crazy. We're going to bounce on back to the Premier League and talk about the top 4 there. As we know, League One title basically wrapped up. Serie A title basically wrapped up.
No. Hold on. You gotta first laugh about PSG not wrapping up their title a little bit.
Oh, yeah, man.
Because the Nicolas Pepe show came in town.
Yeah, they got their ass handed to them. But they were 1-0 up, too, right?
1-0 up. So
1.5.
You want to understand the price of why Nicolas Pepe is going to be going for like 150 mil or something in the summer. They sent him through on goal the first time. Bernat got a red card. They sent him through on goal the second time. He rounded the goalkeeper and scored.
Yeah, his kid is nice, man. Lille doing their thing though. 5-1 victory to stop PSG from claiming the inevitable title.
Again, they're like, bring out Neymar.
Yeah.
Neymar to do this shit. If you want to win by 55, then Neymar is necessary.
If
you want to win by a logical amount, we'll let you later. But right now, we need some Neymar. We're the number 2 team.
Yeah. I'm sorry, and I did not mean we're going back to England. We're actually going to Spain, and we're going to look at the top 4 there. That's what we wanted to do, as that race is pure legit. We know that Barcelona are up in this comfortably by 9 points with 6 games to go. Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid are 2 and 3, and there's a nice little gap between the rest. So Sevilla, Getafe, Valencia are all in the race for this top 4 spot. I'm tripping that when I looked at this, man, Bilbao has made their way up to 7th. Like, they were down early this year, and they've just been slowly grinding out results. But Alaves has fallen off, Betis has fallen off. They're kind of out of this discussion, so we will take you to Sevilla and Betis, matter of fact. Good game here.
This is where Betis' season kind of, as far as the struggle kind of ended, because they needed this game. Away, high-scoring game, a game in which ex-Barca forward scored at will.
Munir,
Christian Teo, Munir. You know, it was fun. Pablo Sarabia fucking still balling out. Wissam Ben Yedder had an assist, but they fucking needed a result here. But to take the edge off of like losing and everything, they just signed Giovanni Lo Celso today. because he's a loan
Just gonna
player.
ask. He's from
PSG.
PSG. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on loan and he's been killer. He scored in this game too, and they just signed him.
They need him. Nice though. That's a nice pickup for them.
But even that being said, their season is really, really going decent. You know what I'm saying? They'll probably finish around 7th. I would expect them to. And the project, if you look at it as a project, it's not bad. As a season, they're expected to do maybe a little more, maybe finish like 5th or 4th. But I think that if they finish 7th, like that's not a bad season.
Sevilla doing their best up and down thing that they can do, but they have won 6 of their last 8. And that has put them right back in that top 4 discussion as we talked about, because they had fallen out a little bit. The other teams involved in it are... Now, what's that other team I'm forgetting about?
Valencia beat
Valencia.
1, so they moved up.
What was the... Oh, Getafe. Yeah. Getafe hosting, away to Real Valladolid. And they got a draw here on a 90...
A draw that you can say hurt both fucking teams.
96-minute penalty to pull away the point. They almost blew this shit.
But like I said, a draw that kind of hurts both these teams because Valladolid at the end of this weekend, because Celta got a win, ends up down in the relegation zone. So Getafe, they could have had a more solid hold on 4th place. Instead, now they're in 5th with Valencia 2 points behind them. So everybody lost.
And Valencia did not, though. They've been on a wonderful run of form, and they got a 3-1 victory over Levante. They've been playing really well, and they played well in Europa, too.
Europa against Villarreal, who has actually also, with a win this weekend, moved out of the relegation zone and all the way up to 15th place. So they play again on Thursday. I think Valencia's form right now is beautiful. Guedes has been out for a while. Gonzalo Guedes. And he's back. He's doing really nice. Scored a couple.
7 wins, 2 draws, and a loss from their last 10 games for Valencia. Playing excellent. So to let you know how this is shaping up, as we mentioned, there's a 9-point gap between 3rd place Real Madrid and 4th place Sevilla. But Sevilla with 52, Getafe with 51, Valencia with 49. 6 games left. That's fun. So
Indeed.
Even though with some of the races over, some of the races are not, a lot of the races are not exciting stuff. It all gets decided really fast.
Everybody up to 14th place is part of a relegation struggle. And then there's like a few teams there like that are just kind of safe. And then there's all the Europeans. So like 18 out of the 20 teams are in some sort of fucking game, you know?
Yeah. All right, man. That was the back 4. Moving along to the midfield.
What was this? It was really good shit.
Really good. Really good. The sauerkraut was really good. Want that shit today, man. Get some fermented food in your life. That ain't alcohol. All right, man. Premier League review, bunches of games, still making up games and all this shit. But we're going to start you off. Leicester City hosting Newcastle on Friday. Newcastle get there 1-0.
1-0. Yeah. They got that away game of 2 teams that are going to finish around the same as each other. But it was...
Leicester sitting, before this game, sitting in 7th place with their angry fan base, expecting them to do what exactly?
I do not know.
Compete for the title every year? Bruh, like, take your win and be happy. Like, highlight of your life type shit. Of your fan life. Yeah. I mean, for real.
I don't get it. Sometimes the fans complain that the way they play is not expansive enough. But if they try to open up, they're gonna get lit.
You're gonna get lit.
So,
Fuck up.
I don't know what they want from them.
You're still playing Westmoreland.
You're in 7th place in the league. Is a team that's known to be a seesaw team. You lost Kante, you lost Mahrez. Now you have Madison, who's really nice, playing number 10 for like. You should be very happy with your season.
Agreed. Moving along, Tottenham hosting Huddersfield. No Harry Kane in this game, no Dele Alli. They rotated the hell out of their squad with an eye towards City, and it didn't matter at all.
Or it mattered a lot because they just
Swept these boys aside.
yes.
That new stadium,
Lucas.
they've broken it in very nicely.
Oh yeah. So far we know that it's Korean friendly and Brazilian friendly.
I've been thinking about that.
Everybody scored there except Harry Kane.
Everybody scored. And he won't score there this year.
Yeah, you're gonna have like 10 goals between them by the time he's back. And shit.
Huge match concerning relegation here. Burnley hosting Cardiff. And from my understanding, Cardiff should feel a little hard done about this.
They should, but I think that couple of cute spurts notwithstanding, Cardiff is not a Premier League team. I think that they should go down. So the quicker we get there, the better it is at this point.
Yeah,
it's just sad to watch this little struggle. With an extra game played, they're 5 points behind the team in front of them, which is Brighton. And
so they play Brighton this week, and that'll be a big match to go a long way to deciding relegation. In my personal opinion, man, is when I watch Cardiff, it's like they're not the worst team. They just have nothing when it comes to putting the ball in the goal.
But what I'm saying is, like, the Premier League's talent league. Like, you gotta have 1 or 2 players. Like, I can see Cardiff getting relegated and not too many of their players even get bought up. You know what I'm saying? And that, like, Fulham has players that I know they're gonna get sold. Like,
Brighton had a nice little start to the season, but they've been riding that, and I think they're just as shitty as Cardiff, to be honest.
yeah, they are. But they seem like they have more of an identity and they have an idea of what to do. They suck at it too, but I don't get what Cardiff is really trying to do this.
Stay. That's it, man. Just survive. But
with one game less played than them, they've scored 4 more goals and conceded 8 less goals. Like, yeah, Brighton sucks, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like they're still a step above.
Well, as mentioned, they play today, actually. Going along.
Watch Cardiff win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I need them to win. I will actually win. No. Actually, I need Brighton. I'm in a Premier League pick'em. But anyway.
Oh, good. You picked Hove.
And here we go to this shit that we talk about with like teams with nothing to play for. Fulham with a 2-0 over Everton. 2 teams that have nothing to play for, really. So you're not really that expected. And Everton's kind of awful away from home.
Everton has really tailed off. They beat Arsenal, but outside of that, like, they've kind of been shit lately. If it wasn't for their early season points, like, they would be way further down and in a much bigger struggle, I think.
They're just like some West Ham shit, man. Southampton.
You mean the team they're like 2 places removed from?
Yeah. Oh, exactly. They're like, that's what I'm saying. They're in the same place at the table. They're kind of up and down in the same manner. Southampton, though, crawling their way out of relegation contention with a 3-1 over Wolves. Wolves have kind of been like, we're done for the season. Didn't they win last week, though? They had a good win last week, I thought.
I don't think it's a case of Wolves being done for the season as much as, like, Wolves just made it to the FA Cup final played and lost to Watford to get to the FA Cup final in the game in Wembley last week. So there's a little more fatigue playing against a team that probably didn't do shit that week.
Their last 6 games are a draw to Chelsea, 2 wins over Manchester United, a loss to Burnley, lost to Watford, lost to Southampton. That's crazy.
So you can't even say they're this form or that.
No,
So hopefully their next game is against a good opponent because then they win.
Yeah, hopefully they pull that together for the last game of the season. Brighton, Hove.
And
hosting Bournemouth, and they hosted them all right, as you like to say. They gave them their wives. They gave them their daughters.
Dude, they were. Woo.
Hey, come on in. We'll even give you a man down.
Knock you out. Knocked you out.
5-0 by Bournemouth. Speaking of Manchester United,
Let the record show, first of all, that it was 2-0 and 68 minutes when the red card happened. So they were already fucking them up before that.
Manchester United hosting West Ham United, and Manchester pull another gold nugget out of this pile of shit that they call football.
The two penalty goals for Paul Pogba.
Changed up his run-up, man. That was the big story.
Yeah, give him enough penalties, you'll have different run-ups for them. Fucking guy.
I wonder how many penalties does he have this year? Do you know?
At least 7.
I think he leads the league in
You know who leads the league in goals scored without taking a single penalty is Mane.
Really?
Yeah.
Ball.
He gets all his the hard way.
Pogba, 7 of 10. He is second, though, to Luka Milivojevic. 10 of 11.
I don't know.
Who's 10 of 11, though? Get that.
Dude, fucking Crystal Palace's style of play, they get fucking penalties all the fucking time.
Messi wishes he was that prolific.
Messi
And yesterday, Arsenal, man, talk about some ugly shit. They pulled out a 1-0 over Watford after Troy Deeney sees red,
and
debatably.
The 12th minute?
Yeah.
They played most of the game, one man up, and Watford looked pretty dominant for most of it, actually. They got their goal when it was 11 against 11, and then Watford proceeded to outplay them 10 against 11 for most of the game. Got the result. They're looking like they might close out in that 4th spot, but the football they've been playing has been shite.
So let's mention that top 4 because we didn't in the back 4. Top 4 outside of Liverpool City reads as Tottenham was 67, Arsenal was 66. Chelsea played one more game than everybody, and they have 66 points, and Manchester United have 64, so they are on the outside looking in. Yes, 4 to 5 games left. Excitement abounds. All right, word up. So now we're going to hit you off. That was our Premier League review. We're going to hit you off here. La Liga. Some of the other big matches, as though we covered most of what went on. Espanyol with a 2-1 over Alaves. Alaves continues their fall. Barcelona trotted out their C team. They got a 0-0 draw to Huesca.
I'm glad because this takes you back to last season in a game against a certain, I want to say Leganes, where Barcelona decided to play Luis Suarez, Messi, and all them cats, and proceeded to
Fucked up by Roma.
Yes, and for this one, they decided they weren't going to do that. So, yay!
Atletico actually get 2 of those points back that they lost last week by defeating Celta Vigo 2-0. So they bring the gap between them and Barcelona to 9 points with 6 games left. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. Still unlikely, but you never know. As I mentioned earlier, Bilbao creeping their way up the tables with a 3-2 over Vallecano. Villarreal 1-0 over Girona.
That's a big
that's big
scoreline because not only did that get Villarreal out of the relegation zone, Girona is now in the relegation battle.
Valladolid, Celta, Levante, Villarreal, Girona are all 3 points apart for the final relegation spot in La Liga. That could get crucial. We mentioned Valencia already, and then yesterday, Real Madrid pulled back a 1-1 draw with Leganes.
Big Benz is having an amazing season for them. I think he's only had 2 seasons in Real Madrid that he scored more league goals than he is this year. And it's kind of all going to naught because it's a shitty team. But
pretty much.
Like he's
he went from
ultimate professional.
He went from being guaranteed, like we knew he was gone, and he'll definitely be there next year.
Oh yeah, like especially with the current striker market, and even if they do bring somebody, like Benzema has before been played as part of a 2-3 man whatever striker rotation. He's fine with all that.
It's good.
He just likes living in Madrid and scoring goals.
No doubt. And kidnapping. And can't forget that.
Kidnapping, blackmailing.
Oh, that's right.
No.
Blackmailing, my fault.
Dude,
Different pastime.
When you are discussing somebody's crimes, you better get it right.
That's for real. Don't want to be the subject of a blackmail.
He's already a criminal.
All right, moving along. Serie A, we mentioned a lot of these games already as top four, as the title's basically set. Napoli set in second. Top four is, we already discussed. I don't even see anything else big here to talk about. We mentioned Empoli already.
There's that.
Frosinone, Chievo are going down. Word up, Serie A, done. Bundesliga. Big matches here. We already talked about the top two, as mentioned earlier. Leipzig with a 2-0 over Wolfsburg. Mönchengladbach get on the right side of things with a 1-0 over Hanover. As you mentioned, Bremen creeping up, 7th spot, 2-1. Leverkusen 1-0 over Stuttgart. Studding. They just be studding, son. Hoffenheim, 2-0. Creeping there, man.
Yeah.
6 points back of 4th place all of a sudden. As Frankfurt, the big result here, the big upset. Frankfurt take a 3-1 loss to Augsburg. That puts.
I feel like Augsburg has had quite a few upsets this season.
They have them in Dusseldorf.
Yeah,
have been sneaking people. Bayern the top, 67. Dortmund 66. That's the title race. The rest of it looks like third place Leipzig with 58, 6 points up on fourth place Frankfurt, who are a point up on Mönchengladbach, who are 4 points up on Hoffenheim. So Hoffenheim is 5 points back of fourth place with 5 games to go.
Big up RB Leipzig, who playing with a lame duck manager who knows he's gone at the end of the season. The only thing that they had to do was finish ahead of Hoffenheim and in a Champions League spot. And they're achieving it. Big up Julian Nagelsmann. Like with games to go, they're in third place now. Like they're securely in the Champions League spot. Like
and have conceded the least amount of goals of any team in the
exactly league. Only 22 conceded this season, and it's not even close, dude. Second least is like 34. Mm-hmm. So Timo Werner Werner has been okay, but like they've just shorted up and played some solid football. And
after a very schizophrenic season last year, after coming, because they came off like a second place finish, and I think they were like 6th last year or something.
Yeah, but then you got into your first ever Champions League appearance, etc., etc. So it's like you fall off, but like they got their shit together, and I think that next season with Nagelsmann coming over and new purchases
they
being
can make
added,
a jump.
I think that Dortmund needs to like step their game up because Leipzig is going to be right there.
We'll obviously talk about it close to the end of the season, but just very briefly, are you thinking like, should Dortmund sell some players? Is Dortmund's best move to stand pat? They got to do something on defense.
They got to get defenders.
Yeah,
they got to get defenders. They got to get cover for Witzel.
Yeah,
like when he's not playing.
Royce too.
Huh?
Royce too.
Yeah, you gotta get
because he's getting older.
You gotta get another player just because he's always injured. But like, it's not gonna be anybody on his level. They don't have a budget for that.
Do you feel like it's really beneficial for them to hold Sancho when his stock is so high this year? Like you can make your 100 something.
I think that they'll always make that much. I think that his stock
no matter what, because he's so young.
Unless he like fucking breaks himself or something. He's young. He's very talented. It's been clear now for a year and a half that this kid can play. And if they have a Champions League season coming up, put him out there. You can sell him in January too if you want. If your season goes to shit. But like, even for him, I see a lot of growth that he can do staying there.
Agreed. All right, moving along, as we always say.
That being said, he's probably going to end up in Manchester United this summer.
I would not like to see that, but go ahead, spend that money. Spend that money. Last and always least, Ligue 1 Francais. We mentioned PSG getting their ass handed to them by second place Lille 5-1. That was the last game of the weekend. Other big results here are Lyon just mailing it in for the fucking season, apparently. Taking a 2-1 loss to Nantes.
You know who's not been mailing it in this season? Specifically in the month of March.
Who?
The player of the Ligue 1 for the month of March.
Who is?
Mario Balotelli!
Bello. Yeah.
He was given the March Player of the Month award.
Was he?
Yes.
Nice. I likes it.
He got like 3 goals, 2 assists or something.
And on that note, Marseille get a 2-1 win over Nimes. Monaco get another point with a 0-0 draw. And Saint Etienne with 3-0 over Bordeaux. Staving off the inevitable, PSG are still clear by 17 points with the game in hand. They only need like one more point or something.
They've been needing one more point, and
for
they've
like
been
3
getting
games.
fucked up.
Lille second place by 8 points. They are nice in the field, nice and secure in that Champions League spot. Lyon are doing everything they can to give their Champions League qualification spot away. They are only 3 points clear of Saint Etienne and 5 points clear of Marseille coming into the final stretch. Okay. Yeah. So that's Ligue 1. And we are going to move along to our final midfield section, which is Champions League preview.
Hey, that's happening.
Yeah, that's happening today.
Yes, indeed. So today's games being, firstly, he's very excited about these games.
Woo! Juventus Ajax.
Ajax
1-1 tie. This is at Juventus.
Yes, 1-1 at the end of the first. There was doubts, not doubts, but it looked more like mind games about Frankie de Jong because he played in a 6-1 destruction in the league, and he got a little knock. But he's traveled with the team. He's gonna start. I anticipate he's gonna be fine once the game starts. But it's Juventus clearly have the advantage because Ajax need to score. But outside of that, you can't call it after the first game. They balled out.
They did.
Ziyech, De Jong, De Ligt, all of them were wicked. So we'll see how it goes away from home.
And on the other side today is Barcelona hosting Manchester United. Barcelona up with 1-0 in their away goal. Barcelona definitely favored here, but they need to be careful just because. It's one goal. I mean, fuck, we watched them lose 3 goals up
very
last year.
precarious lead. They should be very careful, but they've shown to be very careful by resting a lot of their players. That makes me somewhat more comfortable in the situation, but we'll see how it goes. But I think that Barca should come through this game winners. If not, it'll be like Roma's last season. It'll be a huge surprise and a huge disappointment. But they should have done more in the first leg.
Yeah, for sure. But I think, definitely at Camp Nou, it's going to be tough for a United team that doesn't look in any particular form. I'd be floored if they pulled this one off.
So
the
in the
PSG
last
shit
30
seemed way more
Champions
possible.
League
But
games, I think at home, Barca has not conceded more than 1 goal in any of them. They have 27 wins, 2 draws, and a loss, I think. Mm-hmm. And they need 2 goals because I don't know if the game plan is to hold Barca to 0 and get to 0-1 and then go to overtime and all that. If you think you can hold Barca with Messi, with your fucking defense of Chris Smalling and them for that long, I don't know. But like we saw in the PSG game, there was 2 mistakes and 1 penalty.
Yep.
And that was 3 goals that they got. Where even in that game, they were being dominated. So you never know in football,
Yep. Porto, tomorrow's games. Porto hosting Liverpool. Liverpool up 2-0 in this game.
Liverpool, I think, is like the way they've been performing this season. They know how to take care of a lead like they haven't over the last couple of seasons. But this year, they have a 2-goal lead. They're in excellent form.
They're going through. I can't see. I mean, were they going to lose this game 3-0? I doubt it. even
again,
2-0
a
would be tough.
2-0 would take it to penalties.
Time,
but I don't see this Porto team. They came at them last time, and there were some bad calls that were missed. But Liverpool was clearly the better team in that game.
And the big matchup of the round, and what everybody's been talking about, considering the results and considering the lineups out there played and considering all the injuries involved. Manchester City hosting Tottenham at Manchester City. 1-0 Tottenham in the first leg. What you think about this?
This is the big one, like you said, the big kahuna. And I think Kevin De Bruyne, Leroy Sané have to play. They have to start.
Silva or Sané?
Huh?
Bernardo? Or do you
I
put
meant Sané.
I'm asking though. Like that would be the.
I'd play a midfield of Fernandinho, David Silva, and Kevin De Bruyne, and the forward line of Sterling, Aguero, and Sané.
Bernardo coming off the bench.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that he's had a spectacular season, but he's also got a lot of miles in this season, more football than he's played, and these guys are fresher. And given if both guys rest 6 days and you want to choose a team and you're going to the playground, I would pick Kevin De Bruyne over him 10 times out of 10. And I don't understand why we're overthinking it. This is the big moment. You want your biggest fucking guns.
Players.
And
so
he could be awesome off the bench or if some situational happens, but I don't get why they would not play.
The one question I have is left back for City. Delph, Danilo, Mendy. I mean,
if they're probably gonna go with Delph. I don't know,
Again, I think you go Danilo actually.
I think that the only person really it's good for them. The advantage is that Harry Kane has been deemed injured, so Son is probably going to move closer to the middle of the field. But I think that Mendy is the only one that can handle the threat on the outside consistently over 90 minutes, and he hasn't played enough, and he's positionally off a lot. So
definitely
they're stuck in that. But if they want to have success at left back, this guy needs to start being himself. And if he's healthy, you have to play him over those two because they're clearly just guys that you put in place until somebody like him is healthy.
Yep.
So
and you just hope they don't make a mistake. And I think that's
Delph was terrible in the first game.
Delph was terrible, and that's why I think Danilo is just he's a dude that doesn't do much but doesn't fuck up that much. And to your point about Mendy, definitely, man. Dude, he's so good going forward, and positionally though, he's liability going back defensively, and I think it's just time learning.
For example,
Still
Dani
young.
Alves always had that issue, but in a big moment, you have to put in those guys.
You got to. Yeah.
You can't put in Fabian Delph, who in the first leg was clearly over his head, and then Danilo's 30 something, and he was never that. They're gonna create a game plan that isolates these guys.
How do you see Tottenham coming out for this matchup?
Not much different, except I think that Kane will be Son will be veering towards goal a lot more.
Son and Mora up top.
I think they might play Mora.
Do you buy the idea that this makes Tottenham tougher to plan for?
No.
They're a better team with Harry Kane.
Yes. They're a better team.
Even though they've done extremely well and even thrived with him out.
They've done extremely well and even thrived with him in.
I agree. Well, until the last month. But yeah. No, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, he does more than just score, and I think we all know that. And so
it reminds me of, sorry, this is going to go a long way and to a different sport, but Shaq was out for about 3 months once, and Penny Hardaway balled the fuck out in Orlando. And even beat the 72 win Bulls. But you always knew that it was going to, it's based. Son can score for them. They won when he was out. But Son himself plays better football when Kane is there. The runs off of him, they're a much tougher proposition to guard against when you have Kane as a target number 9 and Son running all over the place around him. Then, Son is still effective because he's a really good player. But taking away one of the most prolific scorers in Premier League history, I don't think is an advantage.
How do you see the game playing out? Think City does it?
If they play like Kevin De Bruyne and Sané and Silva plays decent, then there's a big hole in the middle of midfield that the Spurs don't have the players to close up. So they should be able to take it, but so far they've acted like it doesn't exist, and they're just forcing it on the wings, where Spurs are, even if you burn their guy, they got multiple guys set up, so they're expecting it. Unless City move the football to the middle, it's going to be very difficult.
So City need at least a 2-goal win and a 3-1 if Tottenham score. I think it's definitely a difficult proposition. We'll see if what Pep did in the last matchup makes sense.
This is the thing we were talking about before the last game too. You just right now, if you're City, you need a goal. You don't need the 3. You don't need this. Like you go out and you need them to not score, and you need a goal. Once you've got that, you've got it down to 0-0, and then you're like, all right, we got to keep, but. You can't.
The motivation stays the same. No, you're right. Can't look ahead.
If you think of the bigger things and we need 2 and this, then you stop playing football.
Yep. Agreed. Especially when it's just 1-0. It's not like some major overturning that you have to do.
Yeah, you just come in and you're like just stay tight. Don't give up a goal. But even if they do score, you have to be prepared to not, be shook.
Word up. All right. Moving along to the forward section.
Hasta la vista, baby. Hasta la vista, baby.
Yeah. Prestigious and egregious D4G award section coming at you right now. Dude of the week goes to
Lucas Moura from Tottenham, who had on a heavily rotated Tottenham team. I know it's not a tough opponent, but he pulled off a really, really good hat-trick and kept Tottenham. Now with results that happened around them, Tottenham is firmly in third, not necessarily in third, but in the top 4 spot. And unless they actually fuck up a lot, they would like where they are.
Should be interesting as they have a matchup with Manchester City for the league coming up on Sunday as well. If they drop 3 there, they're right back in that super tight top 4 race.
Yeah.
Dude of the week though. Goal of the week goes to
Mo Salah. That's actually a goal of the season contender. The strike he had, the moment, as soon as it happened, I was saying, this is a legacy goal. All of his highlight tapes from now on will have that goal because the opponent is famous enough. It was a beauty. It ticks all the boxes. And
put
Mo
them
Salah,
back top of the table.
Yeah, it was like season on the line, put it away.
And it's crazy, like his season last year was so amazing that we've talked, like generally our tone has been like, this is some down season. Dude, still top of the league in goals.
No.
It's like, that's a down season, 19 goals.
Yes, he's a streaky player. Even last season, remember at the beginning of the season, there was a long stretch of time he didn't score. And even this season, instead of at the beginning, he had like in the middle of the season, Mane, who's also 1 goal behind with 0 penalties taken this season, had to carry the team.
He's been the most consistent player offensively for them this year.
Yeah, I would even argue for anybody because he didn't get any free. You know what I'm saying? He gets all of it from play, from what falls his way.
Yep.
So that's the only reason. But like in this fucking game, Mo Salah, your best player coming to play in your biggest moment so far in the season, and that was wicked to watch.
Word up. So upcoming games, just round that off. We've been talking about it, but Liverpool hosts Cardiff and City hosts Tottenham for the league this weekend. That will be fascinating stuff. In Serie A, Inter play Roma. We mentioned that. Other games to look out for: Mönchengladbach hosting RB. As far as the Bundesliga title race is concerned, Bayern hosts Werder, and Freiburg host Dortmund. You also have Betis Valencia in La Liga, and then PSG Monaco. Monaco hopefully starting this ultimate collapse by PSG.
Oh, wow, that'd be funny.
They lose their last game of the season. Lille's creaked on them.
And then Monaco's new/old coach, he gets like manager of the season.
Manager of the season, finishing 10th place. And that's it, man. That's the wrap. Matches in the books. Thank you, anybody who takes time to check us out. Diving for Glory, Season 2, Episode 32. Be back at you this Thursday for Champions League so we can talk about the results of the quarterfinals. And we already know who the semifinal draws will be. There are no more draws because it's all in line. And, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate anybody. Don't forget, every Monday, every Thursday, Diving for Glory, iTunes, YouTube, divingforglory.com, Facebook, Twitter, @divingforglory. That's the wrap, man. Sir Solomon, Corsiola.
We up.
Diving.
He's not a man. There's nothing more to say.
Diving for glory.